You are Locked On Tigers Postcast, part of Locked On Sports Detroit on the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
Hey, how about it? It's a series sweep for the Detroit Tigers. Back to 500 for the first time since June. That's right. Another win on the South Side, 6-3 over the White Sox. Welcome into a live Locked On Tigers postcast. I am your host, Jake Rietma. You can follow me on Twitter at Jake_Rietma, formerly with 97.1 The Ticket, now with Locked On Sports Detroit, and fired up to be with you on a live Tigers postcast because we've got a lot to discuss. It was the Madden MLB debut. The offense broke through in a big way late in this one. And as I mentioned, the series sweep gets the Tigers back to 500. But first, I want to thank everybody for making Locked On Sports Detroit your destination following the final out. And of course, your first listen every day. We're free and available wherever you get your podcast and on YouTube. It's all part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every single day. And don't forget, Locked On Sports Detroit will have Locked On Lions postcast after their first game on Sunday Night Football. Oh, Sunday night. But right now we got a lot of Tigers to talk about, and I can't wait to get into it because, I mean, getting to 500 in late August, I just had a buddy text me. It just feels like uncharted waters, and we haven't been here in a long time. And I know it's the White Sox, and I tweeted this out. I wish we could play the White Sox every single game because, my goodness, the Tigers look like world beaters against that embarrassing lineup and franchise and dumpster fire of an organization that the White Sox are. But wow, what a 4-game series sweep for the Detroit Tigers. And I'm also fired up to tell you about today's presenting sponsor. That's right. You thought I forgot? No way, no how. I couldn't forget the pros over at SupplyHouse. That's right. SupplyHouse.com is the reliable way to get parts fast. Shop for your next plumbing, HVAC, or electrical job and get fast shipping from coast to coast at SupplyHouse.com. And as I was getting into it, we'll get to the comments in just a moment on the live YouTube part of Locked On Sports Detroit, which is your friendly reminder to subscribe to Locked On Sports Detroit because we got a ton of fun things going. But tonight was another fun night. And I apologize for my absence yesterday. Came under the weather a little bit, had a little 24-hour bug, but back at it and good to go today. But my apologies there. Was feeling very crummy yesterday. But here we are on a live Locked On Tigers postcast after a big win, 6-3, Madden debut. And this had the makings of a very, very frustrating game up until that 7th inning, because the Tigers before that 7th inning were not good with runners in scoring position. They were putting guys on, but not coming through. I mean, Torkelson had the leadoff double in 1 inning and didn't even get past second base. That's a leadoff double. There were several other instances where the Tigers left 2 men on, and it was just starting to pile up. And you're thinking, man, this would be a frustrating way to not complete the sweep, to not get back to 500, which were both on the line in tonight's game. But lo and behold, that offense, man, it woke up in a big way in that 7th inning. And you look at the box score in this one, you go down to the 7th inning, and it's Parker Meadows, that home run to center, 415 feet, that tied the game up at 2. That was his first home run off of a lefty this year. So big improvements for Parker Meadows, and he just continues to hit the cover off the ball and continues to be such a bright spot. And the young core, I know it's going to sound repetitive and it's going to sound like a broken record, but here we are in the month of August watching these games with an intent, with a purpose, and seeing the development take place right before our eyes. And I'm guilty of this. Listen, winning is fun. I tell you that all the time. I wear my heart on the sleeve, especially when it comes to our Detroit teams. It's all about winning, and winning is fun. And I admit, I get a little fired up, and I have to, take the foot off the gas a little bit, knowing that, knowing that it is just the Chicago White Sox, but at the same time, to get back to 500 at 66-66 and to take care of business with a young, unproven team that you don't always know what you're going to get. There's not always that consistent level of execution with a young, unproven team like the Tigers are working with right now. But to go on the road, and Dan Dickerson talked about this on the radio broadcast, listened to quite a bit of that tonight, where you really had the away game on Sunday in Williamsport and then 8 straight games on the road between the 3-game series against the Cubs and the 4-game series against the White Sox. So the 8 games in total, I should say, even though that last Sunday game in Williamsport, technically the Tigers were the home team. But the point being, you get on the road and you go and you take care of business against the Chicago White Sox, who, again, are a dumpster fire of an organization. It's embarrassing where they're at organizationally, but at the same time, this game checked a lot of boxes. And how have I gone this long without talking about Spencer Torkelson? I mean, 3 more hits again tonight, and he was a guy that was just hitting missiles. And that home run in the 7th inning to put really the nail in the coffin, if you will, and put the dagger in the 3-run homer to center field. Just the no doubt about her off the bat right away, 439 feet. And the swing just looked so confident, right? It looked like the old Spencer Torkelson. And I'm not here to say, yeah, one game against a lousy White Sox team means Spencer Torkelson is back. But wow, what another really, really encouraging sign from tonight's game is the fact that Spencer Torkelson looked really, really good at the plate. Now, Jace Jung, his brother was in attendance. And I got to say, Bally Sports, we always talk about how much we love Jason Benetti and Johnny Kane and the whole broadcast crew and Dan Petrie and so on and so forth. But you got Jace Jung, and this is just a little thing. I didn't even plan on getting into this too much, but it's the Locked On Tigers postcast. You never know what's going to come up. And we're instantly reacting to what we saw today. And then I just thought the interviewing his brother, Josh Jung, who hadn't seen him play since high school. And during the at-bat, you're talking to him, just let the guy watch his brother play. Maybe you catch him in between innings, or you catch him when his brother's not batting or the Tigers are in the field or something. But I thought that was kind of a swing and a miss. But what do I know? I'm one guy. I know absolutely nothing. But just let his brother, Josh Jung, who of course plays for the Texas Rangers, was a really prolific player last year on that World Series team. And, just let him watch his brother play. But anyways, Jace Jung gets that big RBI single to left in that 7th inning that put the Tigers ahead 3-2. And then came the 3-run homer from Spencer Torkelson. I also thought this was noteworthy that, and Dan Dickerson mentioned this on the broadcast as well, that the Tigers wanted to win this one because, and I know it's Major League Baseball, you want to win every game, but there's 162 games, and AJ Hinch wasn't messing around in the 9th inning. He sent out Tyler Holton, 3-run lead, go get it done, and indeed he did. 3 runs still counts as a save situation, and so Tyler Holton gets his 5th save of the season and a 1-2-3 9th inning, which is what we all wanted, and just shuts the door. You love to see it. And the Tigers put the finishing touches on a big win tonight. They get back to 500. They sweep the series on the road against the Chicago White Sox, and winning is fun. That's the best way you can summarize this one. So we got a lot more to talk about. We haven't even delved into the Ty Madden MLB debut. We'll do that next. We'll get to the comments as well. We got a lot of people watching on a live Locked On Tigers postcast. Don't go anywhere. Your comments next. Locked On Tigers postcast is brought to you by SupplyHouse. That's right, SupplyHouse, the pros that know what matters most, where you can get supplies from the site that's made for the skilled trades, SupplyHouse.com. SupplyHouse.com is the reliable way to order plumbing, HVAC, and electrical products all online. The easy-to-use website is packed with helpful resources and the latest product information to help you get the job done right. You can shop a complete inventory of over 200,000 parts from over 400 top brands and get your order delivered right to your door with fast shipping from coast to coast. If you need help with an order, get expert support and industry-leading service from the friendliest folks in the business and talk to a real person every time. That's my favorite part. You talk to a real person every time. Pros in the skilled trades can get a competitive edge by joining SupplyHouse.com's free TradeMaster program. And every TradeMaster gets access to a dedicated phone line, free shipping, and discounts on every order. So join the thousands of trade pros already benefiting from their free membership at SupplyHouse.com/TM and order plumbing, HVAC, and electrical supplies from anywhere with just a few clicks at SupplyHouse.com. All right, we're cruising right along, and do apologize for the technical difficulties there on the live Locked On Tigers postcast. But hey, we continue on, just like the Tigers continue on in their quest to get back to 500, which they reached tonight for the first time since June. You love to see that. And they can continue to fight to get past that 500 mark, 66 and 66. But let's get to the comments. We begin with Teddy Roll. What's up, Teddy Roll? Any chance we get to the playoffs with this team after getting back to 500? Funny you say that, because I had a couple of people reach out to me and ask the exact same thing. And I wish it were that simple, but unfortunately, as we are tonight, still 7 games back, with the Mariners and Red Sox also plummeting. So, at this point, we're tied with the Tampa Bay Rays with that same record. They're 65 and 65. But I just don't see the Tigers getting back into the wild card conversation. Maybe. I mean, it would be a lot of fun. But that said, top of the hour with Corey Leland says, "Don't stop now, boys." There you go. All right. That's right. We got a 6-game homestand, according to Demetrius McNeil, which is a very good point. 6-game homestand could add to the Tigers' winning streak. By the way, how nervous are the Cleveland Guardians after getting swept by the Royals in a doubleheader, lead down to 1 game? Yeah, that's a good point. As we can look at the rest of the AL Central, the Royals are gunning for that division, which nobody would have predicted based on what the Royals had when the season started and where they were last year. But I say it on this program all the time. I am envious of the Kansas City Royals because, man, they have turned it around in a hurry. Ty Madden, good job in first MLB start. Kept us in the game. Cheers. Exactly. And I want to get to Ty Madden's final line, because even though he didn't factor in the decision, it's still a great opportunity to look at what he did for the Detroit Tigers in his MLB debut. He'll remember this one: 5 innings, 4 hits, 2 runs, 1 of them earned, because in that first inning, Spencer Torkelson doesn't do anything to help his young teammate out, making his MLB debut. He has the air that doesn't lead to the run, but the runner gets over to third on a ball he just has to have. And he tried to make the quick play without securing the ball first. He wanted to go to second, and there was just no reason to do that. Tough play in the field for Spencer Torkelson. But that being said, Ty Madden did a great job of just giving his team an opportunity to win the game, keeping them in the game. 5 innings, 4 hits, 1 earned run. You'll take that. 2 total runs, just the 2 strikeouts with the 3 walks. But again, I think the comment nails it, that just kept the Tigers in the game, and you knew they were going to break through eventually, which is exactly what that offense did. All right, we continue to take your comments. Shout out to Javy. Okay, yeah, we'll get to the Javy Baez stuff here in the last segment, because yes, he is set to undergo season-ending hip surgery, which we never root for injuries around here, but if we're being honest with ourselves, maybe the medical component of it all will be one more check in the boxes of reasons to move on from Javy Baez. All right. Gareth Riding says, with how well the Tigers have been playing, will they finish above 500? Yeah, you look at the remaining schedule. You got the Angels coming to town, and it's an opportunity at this point with everybody under the microscope, like we've been saying. There's no reason not to think of the Tigers as a team that can stockpile some wins here. You got the Angels coming to town, Red Sox, then you go on the road against the Padres, some winnable games on the road in Oakland. Last time the Tigers will go to the Coliseum. Rockies have been bad all year. They come to town. Then some tough ones with the Orioles and Royals before closing it out with the Rays and White Sox. So a little bit of a mixed bag there. If the schedule were easier, I would say, yeah, probably. But it's at this point, it is definitely a guessing game. Rufus Elgato de Baseball. Happy birthday, Torque. If he only does home runs once in a while, but gets singles and doubles all the time, I'm good. Yeah, this was a much improved night for Torque. Because remember, Saturday night, he did not have a good game. And, to see him bounce back and really just be a menace at the plate and mash was really, really good to see. All right, let's check in on the rest of the pitching staff for the Detroit Tigers. I know there's a lot of comments, and I want to continue to read every single comment, but we got to get to this pitching staff because, again, it was a major league debut for Ty Madden. He goes to 5 innings with 4 hits and just the 1 earned run, 2 total runs because of the Torkelson error. But Gunther gets the win, his first win, an inning and 2/3, gave up just the 1 hit, and then Beau Brieske gave up that home run to who was it that went yard? Benintendi, that's right, his 14th of the season. And I got a little bit nervous when it was 6-3, and then I remembered the Tigers were playing the White Sox, so nothing to be nervous about there. Am I right? I agree with this comment here. Bring up Job and let's see what happens. I would love to see exactly what Job could do for the remainder of the season. I don't see any reason to keep him in the minors like the organization seems to be choosing to do. And so from that perspective, it would be awesome to see them bring up Job, but we'll see. All right. We need the young guns to make the difference to get this team moving forward. Absolutely. And they have. And I know it's just one series against the White Sox, but hey, it's one that we will take for sure. All right. 66 wins, 66 losses, 500 at the August 26th mark. And again, after a 6-3 win over the White Sox and a 4-game sweep over the White Sox, it helps playing a team that's 31-101. That's just crazy to think about. The White Sox have lost 101 games, and it's August 26th. I mean, they might get to 120 losses. That's just crazy to think about. But here we are. All right, we're going to talk about the Javy Baez situation and what the news today means with the season-ending surgery, and look ahead to tomorrow's game against the Angels. Tigers have announced their starting pitcher for that, and it might come as a surprise for that. So stay with us. Locked On Tigers postcast continues on in just a moment. This episode of the Locked On Tigers postcast is brought to you by FanDuel. That's right. FanDuel makes every moment matter more. You've heard us talk a lot about FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook, but we've got something a little different for you. Now, through September 22nd, all FanDuel customers can bet $5 and get a 3-week free trial of NFL Sunday Ticket from YouTube and YouTube TV. Then, with the YouTube TV base plan, you'll be able to watch every regular season Sunday afternoon out-of-market game. All you'll need is a Google account and a current form of payment, and you can cancel anytime. All you have to do is visit FanDuel.com/lockedon to download America's #1 sportsbook. That's FanDuel.com/lockedon to download America's #1 sportsbook. And again, this is for a 3-week free trial of NFL Sunday Ticket from YouTube and YouTube TV. And then with the YouTube TV base plan, you'll be able to watch every regular season Sunday afternoon out of market game. Just visit FanDuel.com/lockedon to download America's #1 sportsbook. All right, Tigers beat the White Sox, which you love to see. And with that being said, it is a 6-3 win over the White Sox and a 5-run 7th inning for the Tigers tonight. Compliments of the 3-run homer from Spencer Torkelson, as well as a Jace Jung RBI single and a Parker Meadows home run as well. The Parker Meadows home run is his 5th of the season for Torkelson. It's his 6th home run of the season. RBIs for Parker Meadows, his 13th of the year. For Tork, his 24th. Colt Keith had an RBI single in this one. 52 RBI on the season and 3rd RBI for Jace Jung. Yeah, I should have mentioned Colt Keith earlier because another multi-hit game for him, his 10th in the month of August, which is insane. 10 multi-hit games in the month of August for Colt Keith. He's been mashing. Multi-hit game for Jace Jung. Multi-hit game for Spencer Torkelson. He had 3 hits. Zach McKinstry had a hit. Andy Ibanez had a hit, as did Trey Sweeney. Everybody on the Tigers lineup had a hit except Dylan Dingler in that 9-hole catching. But that being said, a really nice performance from the offense. And again, before that 5-run 7th inning, it was so frustrating because you felt like they were so close to breaking through, and they finally did in that 7th inning. Kevin81 says, is the Dingler experiment over? You know, I had somebody reach out to me and ask the same thing and say, I'm not a Dingler fan. I think we need more of a sample size. Yes, it hasn't gone too well. $157 batting average now. That on-base percentage has fallen to $189, slugging down to .314. So really, really, I don't want to say egregiously bad, but trending that way. And it's disappointing because that opening series he had against the San Francisco Giants was so promising. And so for it to plummet that fast is a little bit disappointing, that's for sure. Question here about the Red Sox upcoming series. Yeah, I mean, the Red Sox just dropped a doubleheader today, and they are plummeting fast as well. They might even be out of it by the time they get together with the Tigers. So maybe I'm feeling a little bit optimistic about that one. It would be good to take that series as well. All right, here's the point I want to get to. Javy Baez to undergo season-ending hip surgery. Larry Dana David saying it's best for everyone involved that Javy shut it down for the year. That's exactly what is happening, season-ending hip surgery. But beyond that, I think it signals the end of Javy Baez's time in a Tigers uniform. I really do. And I think the medical component of all of it will be another reason that this organization, Scott Harris, even Chris Ilitch can point to and say, all right, the body's falling apart. It's a historically bad season. It's his worst season of his career, obviously. All of those factors contribute to him being bought out and not being a part of this Tigers plan moving forward. And I sure hope that's the direction that Scott Harris and this organization go. I think Javy's time is done. I can't say it's been fun. It really hasn't. I don't think he ever earned his keep, if you will, especially given the high salary he made. And in my opinion, he's just going to go down as one of the worst signings in Tiger history, right up there with the Juan Gonzalez's. And I know the list goes on, but those Tigers that just underachieved because for whatever reason, Javy got to Detroit and it just all went to what, and it all derailed from there. So and again, I don't say this, and I know we joke to say something nice about Javy and so on and so forth. I don't wish injury upon anybody by any means, but he just hasn't fulfilled his end of the bargain in terms of being a everyday caliber shortstop, and let alone even an all-star like he had been in the past. I mean, this is a guy that finished second in MVP voting in 2018. And he just has been a shell of himself in Detroit. And this year was bad, yes, but overall, the 3 years he's been in Detroit, it's always been bad. So I really do think today signals the end for Javy Baez in a Tigers uniform. And again, I don't hope for injury, but I hope it's enough for management and the organization to say, all right, this one didn't work out. But here we go. The Tigers beat the Chicago White Sox 6-3 tonight. They get back to 500 at 66-66. Impressively enough, 35-34 on the road. Now you look ahead to the Los Angeles. Are they the Los Angeles Angels? California Angels? No, I know they're not the California Angels. The Angels of Anaheim, they change it so often. The Angels come to town tomorrow. It will be a 6:40 first pitch. 3 games against the Angels, with that getaway day on Thursday being a day game before the Red Sox come to town for the weekend series. So 6-game homestand. I'm optimistic the Tigers can, have a winning homestand, take 2 series against an Angels team and against a Red Sox team that is really, really struggling. So that's the hope. And like I said, I told you the Tigers have named a starter, which is good to see, because it's going to be a little bit different of an approach, because Brant Herter is going to start for the Tigers tomorrow without an opener. So he's been one of those long relief pitchers, obviously, and now he'll actually start. He's 1-1 on the season with a 3.57 ERA. Johnny Cueto will go for the Angels. That's first pitch tomorrow at 6:40. We've got you covered for that. As always, it's a pleasure to be on the air with you. So to recap tonight, it's a 5-run 7th inning for the Detroit Tigers to propel them to victory. Home runs from, that's right, Parker Meadows and Spencer Torkelson to help put the cherry on the top in this one, as well as an RBI single from Colt Keith and an RBI single from Jace Jung as well. So your RBIs, Parker Meadows, Colt Keith, Jace Jung, and then 3 for Spencer Torkelson. And Ty Madden makes his MLB debut with the Detroit Tigers, goes 5 innings, 4 hits, 2 runs, 1 of them earned, 2 strikeouts, and 3 walks. Tyler Holton shuts the door for the save, his 5th of the year, and we are feeling good about this Detroit Tigers team. There is no doubt about it. Hey, we thank you for making Locked On Tigers Postcast your first listen. And don't forget, for your second listen, you got to check out the Locked On MLB podcast, where host Paul Sullivan, a.k.a. Sully, is here to provide daily national expertise with his trademark humor to help you get ready for the MLB playoffs here in the dog days of summer, where you can prepare for the fall classic with Sully, who has it all covered every single day on Locked On MLB. Available on YouTube or wherever you get your podcasts, all part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every single day. And don't forget to check out Locked On Tigers with Scott Bentley on the Locked On Tigers Network, Locked On Podcast Network as well. And we'll continue to keep you covered from every single angle on the Locked On Sports Detroit YouTube page, which is a reminder to subscribe. And of course, if you want to just check out the audio only version, that's available wherever you get your podcasts, on Spotify, Apple Podcasts as well. Thanks so much for tuning in. As always a pleasure to be on the air with you. And again, apologies for the sick day yesterday, but glad to be back and fighting through it a little bit here tonight. And thank you for your patience during the technical difficulties on a live Locked On Tigers postcast. And we'll see you next time on Locked On Sports Detroit. Tigers are back to 500 with a win over the White Sox, and they sweep the series against the Southsiders. We'll see you next time on Locked On Tigers postcast.